So with the new future time frame, it's a little more than 10 years out, right? Year 2025. I think it conjures up all kinds of imagery of what this is. But make no mistake, this is Call of Duty, and it has to be grounded. The kinds of things that are going to be available to the soldiers in the battlefields of the future are going to be things that we might even have a hard time comprehending today. But make no mistake, they're either on the boards, drawing board at DARPA, or they exist in some other format. And as technology progresses, they'll become available on the battlefield. And you're going to have a lot of new tools and weaponry at your disposal. One of the weapons I shared with you in the level was a sniper rifle that had a couple of new features that you've never seen in a Call of Duty game. So one of the features is an optic that uses this millimeter wave technology that exists out there in the world. Now, it's in fairly large format, and it's not anything that you could even remotely consider fitting on an optic. But if you think about 12 years out or so, or 13 years out or so, you could see how that form factor could get smaller. And what does that allow us to do as game designers? Well, that now allows us to see players through certain objects and so forth. So campers beware. But that's only good if you have a way to penetrate some of those objects. And so how do we come up with a fiction for that, a plausible fiction for that? Well, there is technology out there where you have these electronic charges that can fire off lots of bullets, right? So that could penetrate deeper. So you apply that technology to a sniper rifle. Of course, it's a game balance thing because then it's suddenly a very powerful weapon, but you have to hold down and charge up that sniper rifle and get enough caliber weaponry behind it to impact the surface so that you can penetrate what you're seeing behind it. In Los Angeles, there's a sequence where you're going to come upon a VTOL that you can actually take over and fly. So you're going to be flying it through Los Angeles, and you're going to be taking out the enemy. And at some point, you're going to take off in that VTOL and fly it. But not only just fly it, you're going to be using all the caliber weaponry on it. You're going to be launching missiles and firing the high round caliber machine guns that are attached to it. So you're not just targeting and shooting at something, you're also flying it, but it's done Call of Duty style. It's not a simulation. So you guys should be able to, if you know how to play Call of Duty, you're not going to have a problem piloting these futuristic advanced warfighters. You're going to be able to get right into them, and it's pretty epic. It feels very very intense when you're in there. We have effects and explosions. It's really intense experience. We know that there are people who, aren't hardcore, and we know that we have really hardcore fans that we both have to please. So I think, the key to that is when you're making a design is to make it both accessible but have depth of gameplay and strategy for people so that it's both accessible, which I think regardless of how experienced of a gamer you are, you can appreciate that something is just accessible and easy to pick up and play. But if it has depth inside the gameplay and there's different strategies that you can take to take on your objectives, I think people who are very experienced really appreciate that, and they're sort of rewarded for their expertise. We're not talking about giving you all the details on multiplayer right now, but suffice to say the team is really pushing on it. We've taken a really good look at pretty much every single one of our systems. We've stripped them down and we're building them back up, whether it's the create a class systems or other systems in the game. We're taking a look at those things, and it'll become more clear and more apparent as we show you what we mean when we reveal multiplayer. We're also looking at a lot of things that are going out in the world, around the world of multiplayer and online. So all the social that's going on in the world, we see what's happening on the esports scene, and we really are looking at those and seeing how we can better support that inside of Call of Duty. We're participating in those experiences, and it's having an influence on us. So a lot of exciting stuff to share with you guys in multiplayer a little bit later. So Zombies is coming back, and it's coming back in the biggest and most ambitious way that we've ever done. So this is Treyarch's co-op. Of course, you can play it solo play, but Zombies is really fun when you're playing it with a lot of people. And so Zombies is a full game mode. It's totally separate and distinct from the campaign and multiplayer. The game really is that 3 games in one experience. And what you can expect with Zombies is that the team is looking at creating an entirely new sort of robust world. You're going to see some new characters in there, and we're just going to keep building on that. So I can't get into too much detail again, but you're going to see a very ambitious effort on the zombies front. So if you're a zombies fan, you're going to be really happy with what we're doing with Black Ops 2. There's been a lot of great Call of Duty games, and I think one of the things that makes Call of Duty so fun to play, especially online, is when you got that 60 frames per second. The controller feels, you feel very connected for what you're playing to what's going on the screen. And one of the things that the team really challenged itself was it really wanted to push the limits of graphic and visual fidelity in this generation of console hardware without sacrificing that 60 frames per second. So towards that end, we've had a graphics overhaul of our engine, a new lighting system. So while there's a lot of new technology that's helping us achieve that new visual fidelity and that leap in visuals that players are going to experience, there's also a lot of tools and artistic techniques. Our artists have been working in this generation of console and this engine for a long time, and they've developed their tools and their techniques, and they're just, we have entirely new techniques of allowing us to make these worlds look more rich, have more diversity, have more effects, a greater resolution. There's just a whole lot more going on inside the worlds that we're creating now, and I think the fans are going to be excited when they finally get to see it. So we have a really ambitious PC effort with Call of Duty Black Ops 2. We've been continuing to push to support Black Ops, and we've learned a lot about what's going on in the PC world. And I think PC players are going to be really excited to see the kind of online work that we're doing. So, for example, the team has been working ever since Black Ops on advanced anti-hack techniques, anti-cheat techniques, which are so important, keeping the online game, fun to play. And you're going to get to see some of those rolled out inside of Black Ops 2. The game looks spectacular. Of course, if you're playing it on the PC, you can go to higher resolutions. If you've invested in your rig, there's going to be a payoff there too. So if you have DX11, you're going to be able to get the benefits of that. But it'll also scale down and look really great on lower pieces of hardware. So, we're doing a lot more in this game, so there is going to be a little bump up in that minimum spec, and while we're not announcing what that is, there's a little bit of a bump there, but you're going to get a lot for that, and there's still just a tremendous range of PCs that this is going to play on. We've seen a lot of configurations out there in the world with Black Ops. I think one of the great things about Black Ops is as popular as it was, it really exposed us to, a myriad of configurations that are difficult to replicate, but they exist out there, and we've now seen them, and so we can actually work on having those configurations and addressing any sort of compatibility type situations that might exist, and even talking with hardware manufacturers. With Black Ops 2, I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of a Wii SKU. Right now we're just talking about the Xbox 360, the PS3, and the PC SKU. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is coming to the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the PC, and it's coming out on November 13th.